hip external rotation pails and rails. So for this one, I'm going to use a bench here like this. You can probably use a couple of chairs, but if the bench works really well, because if you're not able to get into an externally rotated position with the bench flat, you just adjust the height of this to meet where your hip currently is. So I'm going to bring my right hip on now. There's a couple of ways we can do this now. Usually when we do these ones, we're kind of here and we're sinking or reaching our tailbone back and up, and we do it from this position. And that works perfectly fine. If you like it from here, that's fine. You'll be in this position just like this, with the hip drawing a line to the knee and the knee drawing a line to the ankle roughly. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, as long as we can get a good stretch in the outside of the hip by reaching our tailbone back and up as we sink forward, not down, forward, not down. That's one way you can set it up. The other way you can set it up is with a little bit of a twist. So I'm going to be thinking about turning my pelvis and chest in this direction toward that hip, this way. So the more I turn this hip in, so the more I internally rotate this hip will get a bigger stretch. All right, so you're choosing your position, either the first one in the regular 90-90 or this twisted version. All right, I'm just going to face forward here just so I can explain this. So you've chosen your setup. Of course, you can play with both of them as well. But we'll hold that stretch for 2 minutes, and then we'll go into our pails and rails. So the pails action for this one is trying to drive the shin through the bench. I'm trying to drive it all the way through the bench, squeezing the outside of the hip, trying to internally rotate your hip. The second contraction that we'll do, our rails, is trying to lift our shin and ankle off the bench, squeezing again outside the hip, but more down in towards the glutes for the rails contraction. The pails, as always, we start with a light intensity, 20%. We ramp up to 40. Say if it's 70% on your program, you take maybe 10 seconds to get to that 70%, and you maintain that for that 30 seconds, whatever's listed, and then we reverse directions and we hit 70% immediately, and we try and lift off. Okay, pails driving down, rails trying to lift